Welcome, guys. Welcome to another Health Bar episode. I hope everyone is doing well. As we always start the podcasts, is always about my mental health. And in the week that we're actually doing this, actually I've been really good this week, which has actually been really nice. Have had a cold, which always puts you in a downer. But apart from that, my mental health this week has been pretty positive, and lots of little things have been happening within my own personal life and other stuff. So things have been, on a good, which is always nice. I know it can. A few weeks ago, I was in a real down spot, so it's nice to obviously be in a positive spot now. So as I always say, though, I take every day as it goes. So yeah, at the moment we're in a good spot. So yeah, happy days on that one. With the next thing, what we always talk about is gaming news and mental health, if we can find good news, because it is sometimes quite hard to actually find anything about mental health and gaming together. It's quite a difficult one, hence why we've started doing the podcast. But it's actually really interesting. There is a article on the BBC, which I will put up on the when we do Twitter, when we do YouTube, it'll be in the description, so all the information will be there for you. And this is all about, it's actually really interesting because it is about again, gaming and people's mental health and how it actually benefits. So it's quite nice to see a story from the BBC saying that gaming does benefit, because they have been pretty anti-gaming for quite a long while. But it actually says here that adults who demonstrate more playful personality traits are more motivated, creative, and spontaneous. And that obviously goes into gaming and computer games and other stuff, but they are talking about a lot of the computer games here. And they reckon at the moment the global gaming market has a value of 174 billion. That's dollars, so it's 128 billion. And that's in 2020, that was. And again, I think I said this last week, but they forecast it to be around about they reckon it's going to be around about 231 billion by 2026, which is crazy. But it's a really good article. It just gives you a little insight, and it's nice, as I say, for the BBC and someone like a big news to actually say that is happening, which is really nice because, well, as I say before, you know, it's BBC, well, there's a lot of people out there with the news. They do like to say that gaming isn't good for your mental health, and I know it isn't, which is why we do this as well. It's a bit half and half, so it's quite nice to hear a positive story on this one. Cool. So this week's guest, we are super stoked to have Tactical on. Now do you know what? I can't even remember how we met, which is really random. But obviously we'll have to ask him in a minute. But yeah, we kind of play the same games, like with Escape and Tarkov. Really interestingly as well is that he runs his own podcast. Again, I'm sure we'll talk about that later on as well. Yeah. It's just really exciting because he actually came to me and said, like, you know, do you want to do, like, I'll come on your podcast, you come on mine. I was like, yeah, 100%. So this is him coming on mine, and I'm going to be on his hopefully in the next couple of weeks, which will be really exciting. But he can introduce himself. So here he is, and this is TacticalTv. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's an absolute pleasure being here, as you mentioned. Hopefully we'll get you on the Clip It podcast, my podcast, sometime in the next couple of weeks.
Yes, definitely.
But you saying about us in the meeting, I know you raided me first.
Oh, that's it, exactly.
I don't know how you would have found me.
Yes.
I don't know if it was a random search on
random.
On
I like to do randoms. Yeah, I love doing, you know, if I've got good numbers, I like to go on, do random searches and find people similar kind of numbers to what I have, and fire raids over, which is always good fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. But
no worries.
Whenever people come and raid me, especially if it's someone new, I always go and check their channel out and see what sort of games they're streaming. And to be completely honest, one of my favourite things, I think, as soon as I saw your stream, I just got absolutely I was attracted by your webcam and your room in general. Just looks aesthetically very pleasing.
Thank you very much.
And so I gave you an instant follow, and here we are today. And
exactly.
I've been popping into every stream every now and then.
Yeah.
I see that you play Siege, and
Yep.
you mentioned Tarkov.
Yeah,
And it's just
exactly.
enjoyable to just, not combine, sorry, but interact with you and your community. So it's always good fun.
Exactly. So so that's how we kind of I totally forgot how we did meet. So yeah, exactly. Thank you for bringing that up. And so just explain about yourself. Obviously, games you play, who you are, and then obviously a little bit about your podcast, and then obviously how gaming has either affected or in good and positive ways or bad ways, with your mental health.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, as mentioned, I'm TacticalTv. I also go by Charlie or Charles. I normally play Tarkov. I started back in 2017 when the game, I think, more or less came out. Or at least came into its beta.
Yeah.
But I also play games like Squad, Howl Let Loose, Postscriptum, realistic shooters. I am also a huge fan of Call of Duty and Battlefield from my console days.
Yeah.
And a whole sorts of other games like No Man's Sky. I got absolutely addicted to when that first released. It was an unfortunate journey, but it's definitely going well now. In that sort of same vein, Elite Dangerous. I really want to get into Star Citizen, but I don't want to spend 15k on a ship.
Yes.
I just play all sorts, to be honest.
Nice.
And I've completely forgotten the questions you asked now. And
it was basically who you are, which you've done, which is nice. And then, realistically, well, we can come into your podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now, and then we can go into mental health after that if you want.
Oh, yeah. Well, what most people don't know is we were speaking beforehand, and we were briefly mentioning our podcasts. And so, yeah, I run my own podcast. It's the Clip It podcast. I'm trying to actually expand the brand for the Clip It. But I'll talk a bit more about that probably near the end. I've been doing this podcast for, I want to say 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to run another one, which was a year prior to that. So I've been doing podcasting for about 2.5, 3 years roughly.
Nice.
It's mainly me and my two closest friends on Discord, which is typically run by them. I always intro and outro.
Yep.
They tend to just run the show. But we do try and, like yourself, get as many guests on as possible. I've mainly got close friends. I've got my girlfriend on a couple of them.
Nice.
And we've been lucky enough to get some very special guests, other streamers and content creators alike, which has just been absolutely fantastic. But overall, I've been very much enjoying the podcast. I went from what you do occasionally, live streaming them, which is extremely stressful. People underestimate how much work goes into just streaming a podcast.
Yeah.
It's not just talking. There's a whole host of other stuff. So I do have 100%. To commend you on that.
Thank you.
So I'm glad I don't do that anymore, though I am very much adamant on trying to be the best on live production. I always try and make my streams the best.
Yeah.
Doesn't always go that well.
Yeah.
But I still put a lot of effort into just editing them and trying to give it a cool, different visual aesthetic.
Yeah, definitely.
Very much inspired by I don't know if you'll be aware of the Misfits, but I'm sure some of your viewers are.
Yeah.
And I'm very much inspired by True Geordie. I absolutely love his podcast. That would be a dream come true, having his sort of visual aesthetic and his production quality.
Yeah.
And honestly, his star-studded guests would be fantastic, but you never know.
Exactly.
But that's the podcast.
Nice. And then I suppose mental health wise, as in, I suppose gaming side, how it's either helped or hindered. Your mental health struggles, kind of when it started, when it, is it better, is it not? That type of thing, I suppose.
Well, I think it's best we start it from all the way from when I started.
Yep.
So that'll be. Oh, I was going to do my research, but I can't remember now. I think it was 2012. I'm just going to make sure. Because I remember exactly what game it was. 2009.
Oh wow. Okay.
Started online game. His online gaming started in 2009 with Modern Warfare 2.
Yep.
I don't know why in their right minds my parents gave me a PlayStation and a headset, as well as Modern Warfare 2, but they did.
Yeah.
And I think from that point onwards, I was just stuck to gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Though I did play, the occasional odd flying game before that. We had an original Xbox.
Yeah.
We used to have a home computer that I used to play a couple games on. But from what I remember, 2009 onwards was when I really got into gaming. I used it as a distraction from school, I guess, as most kids do. But I did, like a lot of people, suffer from bullying, unfortunately, and I think that was just a way of getting away from that.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't very social as a kid, so meeting new people online was quite good for me. It was nice to actually socialize with people,
Of course.
even if it was back in those days per lobby. You
Yeah,
meet new
yeah.
people in each Call of Duty lobby or Battlefield lobby, and
Yeah.
you go on to the next one, you never see them again.
Yeah.
That was cool, and we don't have that sort of gaming experience anymore. It's
No.
kind of weird to think about that.
Yeah, 100%.
But I used it from a distraction of that. A little bit later on in life, I probably 2011 onwards.
Yeah.
When I was properly into it, coming, Black Ops, Modern Warfare 3 onwards. I used it as a distraction from homework mainly is what I specifically remember.
Yeah.
But unfortunately around that time my mum was going through her worst stages of cancer.
Right. Okay.
And so I think I used it as just a way of getting away from that.
Yeah. Of course.
I definitely know from 27 beyond, 27 and beyond, from behind that.
Yeah.
Whatever the words would be.
Yeah.
From 2017, but from can't speak English now. From okay, I'll go the other way. From 2009 to 2017, there we go.
Yeah.
I used it. Yeah, that was my main distraction.
Yeah.
And then when she unfortunately passed in 2017, I used it as a distraction from grief. I never gave myself time to grieve over it.
Yeah.
And gaming, especially around the first year after, really helped. Streaming, in fact, really helped as well. I met new people.
Yeah.
And it just let me, I guess, just not think about stuff I didn't want to think about.
Yeah, of course.
It obviously didn't really help with college as well.
Yeah.
Any educational reasons, I used gaming as a distraction, but also from a mental health point of view, it really did help.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's I to answer the basic question of this whole podcast.
Yes.
In a couple basic words, I would say gaming is a great way to, I don't want to say distract yourself away from it, because distraction away, well, I guess distraction is good, but it's also bad, because you don't want to keep it aside and let it bottle up. You never want to do that. But for some people, that is kind of like, it feels like it's their only option, which gaming is fantastic for. Any media is fantastic for that. But at the same time, what gaming does, which movies don't, is communities.
Yeah.
Meeting people, socializing, and finding, what's the word? Finding.
I think more of like I don't know, a community, a friendship group.
Yeah, like there's a word I'm trying to think of now. I can't remember. It's like a not unique, but like when there's like a small amount of people into one thing. Yeah. That's where communities like gaming communities can really solidify you as a person, because you're around people who are very much like you.
Yes.
And who may understand stuff that other people don't. Or or even if it's just as simple as, podcasts, you get to talk to similar people who have similar interests, and they have that understanding of that one thing you like. Or even in a mental health point of view, you might meet people who are in the same situation as you.
Yeah.
And you can talk to them in the same sort of understanding, and you don't have to go into detail. You could just vaguely say what you're going through, and they'll have that sort of understanding to help you.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll have other ways of resolving issues.
Yep.
I know I said a couple words,
Yeah.
but ended up being a couple paragraphs. But it works.
It's really interesting you say, like, obviously, the news about your mum, and we're
Mm,
really sorry about that. And the
appreciate that.
like the craziest thing is grief like that. I think really because I my first ever kind of experience of grief was my nan passing, and I was actually
Mm,
quite old, and I'd never had anyone die before that I kind of obviously really knew of. There was obviously people, but like no one
yeah.
like family wise and things like that. And I was living abroad. I was in Italy when it happened, and I got a phone call, and it was just horrendous. And I remember coming back
Mm,
for the funeral, flying back for the funeral, and then I think I was back for less than 3 days, and was like,
ooh,
I need to get back. And it was me basically kind of running away.
mm,
It was I don't want to deal with it. Yes, I've gone to a funeral. It's horrible. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to speak to my family about it because, it's I don't know. You see it as a weakness, I suppose. I don't know. It's all
yeah.
really strange, isn't it? And I think people go through so many different things with grief, and people don't actually explore it because it's hard. It hurts.
Yeah. Yeah. It's. I guess it's your body, or your brain, I should say, trying to just protect you
Yeah.
from a feeling, because nobody likes crying.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very painful thing. I think people actually misunderstand that crying is actually quite painful at times, especially if it's for a very personal reason.
Yeah.
And so if you've just gone to a funeral and you got very upset over something very understandably
Yep.
upsetting,
Definitely.
then you're kind of going to be traumatized over that one,
Yes.
like, of crime, because you don't want to go through that again.
Yeah.
It's an extremely uncomfortable thing to go through.
Exactly.
And yeah, the whole thing with like families is, I think it's just nobody wants to discuss it or bring it back up because you just want to leave it in the
Yeah.
past. Though it is healthy to do so. It's
Yeah.
always good to reminisce and remember that sort of
Of
stuff.
course.
I guess like like one of my worst things about it is, and I don't know how to explain it. Oh no, I do, but I always feel bad discussing this because I've discussed it with people who have been in the direct line of the situations, and that is
Yeah.
ever since my mum passed, and I've lost two good friends,
Right.
both to mental health. Unfortunately, one was direct, the other one was as a result of what they were doing,
Oh wow. Okay.
heavy drinking
Right.
basically,
Yeah.
and so it was upsetting, but I never was affected by them, and I still don't know to this day if it's because they were friends, not family,
Yeah.
or if it's because of that first time I've kind of just become numb
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
whole
Of course.
sensation.
Yeah.
I went to both of their funerals and I didn't feel anything. I just
Yeah.
felt like I was there. I understood why people were there. I understood why people were upset. I just felt bad that I wasn't.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
and
hard.
so that's been
But
kind
yeah.
of like one of those weird things where I don't know, it's not a blessing, but it's I don't have to go through that trauma, I guess, of
Yeah.
going to a funeral, especially if it's later on in life. Unfortunately, other family members
Yeah. Of course.
dread to think about that, but I feel like
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't be affected by it. But I don't know. I'm just like emotionally numb in that sense, which is a downside.
Yeah.
That's something I've definitely noticed, especially after that. I don't know if what I do in life gaming has helped make that worse,
Mm.
because I just forget about the stuff
Yep.
and just put it aside and then do something else to distract myself. Or
Yep.
I don't know, some other reason.
Yeah.
But that's something I've definitely noticed over the last couple of years is just that sort of numbness to loss, which has just felt weird, honestly.
It is interesting you say that, especially about gaming, because I think you could be right. I think it could be making it worse, but it's that thing of, as you said at the very beginning, it's that escapism, and it's that whole. I always think as well, when you game or stream or whatever it is you kind of do, yes, it's that escapism, but I always feel I'm in control. This is
Mm,
my time. I'm in control as much as you can be in control with computer
yeah.
games. And I think, when you come back into the real world, sometimes I feel very out of control, very lost, don't know what to do, very unpredictable.
Mm.
And so, yeah, I do think that could probably make general life harder if I game. I mean, I'm still quite good sometimes. My missus will probably tell me differently. I'm quite good with saying, right, I'm going to be playing this, I'm going to be streaming this time, and once I've finished, I'm off. I'm going to be editing this time, and once I've done, I'm off. And I kind of try and keep to quite a strict routine. But if I didn't have a routine, I think I would be a very, very different person.
Yeah.
Very different person, as in escapism and disappearing into a world of, the computer world, and
Well, you saying that actually, like I've tried. I think I'm one of those people who I try to stick to a schedule as best as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And as soon as that sort of schedule's gone, that sort of sense of control, even though in life you can never control everything 100%. No. So having a schedule gives you that bit of control in your life that is needed. And so it's like, even if it's as minor as I didn't manage to I go and see my girlfriend every Wednesday, just because that's the only day she doesn't work and I only do mornings.
Yep.
So it's just a good time for us, and I think it went to Wednesdays because Marvel shows normally came out on Wednesdays, so it just fitted in with us.
Nice.
I'd go over and watch whatever episode of whatever Marvel show was out that week.
Yep.
It's really annoying when you have to wait the months between they release them. It's so boring. No offense to her. I shouldn't say that. But no. As soon as even if it's she wants me to come around on the Monday, I feel like I've lost all my control, and I will kind of just feel lost.
Yeah.
And just completely out of it, because then my Wednesday is changed. I feel like I can't stream on that Wednesday to fill in that Monday spot because I feel like I'm out of schedule. I'm out of sync.
Out of sync. Yeah.
So it's an odd one, but having a schedule really does help. I've tried it, especially with editing, but that never went well because my motivation to edit is very dependent on my mood.
I agree with that. I agree with
this last week I've edited 3 videos. I'm now in the mood to edit another one, but amazing. I can't get the motivation to do so.
Yeah.
It's really annoying.
Yeah.
So it's that sake of having a schedule just really does help, and I think it does help a lot of people.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's interesting you say that. I always hated I hated it. I hated having. So when I was not younger, I suppose, when I was living abroad, especially, I hated a schedule, hated it, because it was like, I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. That was my mentality, and I was very selfish back then. My missus would tell everyone how selfish I was back then. And even when we first kind of got together, and I said, I'm going back out to Italy, and I was this harsh. I was like, if you want to come. If you don't. I was like, wow. This is what I was, I am very much the changed person, but it was, and I hated any type of, schedule, anything in my life that I felt that, I just didn't have any, I wanted to be as free as I wanted to be and do whatever I wanted. And now, really strangely, since having any kind of mental health issues, my anxiety, depression, a schedule is a must in my life, and it's so bizarre. It's so strange how I've gone from this kind of free, swing from the seat in my pants type of person to I need a schedule in my life, and and it's the same with the little, and I need to put everything on my Google calendars, and it needs to go off an alarm needs to go off of when I need to kind of go out for the little, and it's so bizarre, but it has helped loads. It's helped loads.
You saying about Google Calendar is something I've been using a lot more recently, just to try and keep myself a bit more organized, and not just decide I'm going to do something tomorrow, but actually plan it a week or if I can a couple of weeks ahead.
Yeah.
I guess, it's mad because I'm normally good when it comes to actually remembering or booking stuff, and then yesterday I was talking to my friends. My co-hosts just casually talk. We every now and then we'll either play Euro Truck or GeoGuessr. Those are our 2 community games apparently. If you don't know what GeoGuessr is, it's the free version to Geotastic is the one we play. GeoGuessr is the paid one that nobody likes. No offense, Stu.
Uh,
But we are talking, and my friend was like, "Oh, Charlie, you ready for Are you still ready for Saturday?" And I was like, "What's going on Saturday?" He's like, "It's X's birthday." I'm like, Whose?" Like we planned this literally weeks ago. I'm like, "Oh
of
yeah, I
course.
completely forgot about that." Luckily, I made no plans for Saturday, but it was just one of those things. I was like, "Oh, for God's sake, I should have remembered this."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, it was, I was like, I was out of control at that moment,
Yeah.
and I think it's because recently me and my sister have been starting the gym, and so I've been waking up an hour earlier than I normally
Oh
do
wow.
just to
Okay.
fit in the gym of
Yeah.
well, I normally wake up at 8:30 to
Yeah.
get to work for 10,
Yeah.
and now I've been waking up at 7 to get to the gym
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
home and get ready. And I feel healthier doing the gym, and especially going to wake up
Yeah.
earlier gives me time to actually wake up and do stuff, get on my computer for once,
Yeah.
or sort something out or whatnot.
Of course.
But I am definitely feeling a lot more tired.
Yeah.
Um, I know it's just going to be time. I'm going to get, my body will get used to it eventually. I'm not feeling that bad today,
Yeah.
but I feel like I've just lost that little bit of control because it's something new in my life, and I need to organize something around it.
Yeah.
And try and refit my schedule in. Like this week I haven't streamed once, but that's because I've been busy. Monday we went and watched Doctor Strange, which
Nice.
was a great film. I'm not going to spoil anything.
Yeah.
Everybody's in it. Um, Doctor Strange is in it, believe it or not. Tuesday was just normal. I don't do anything. Wednesday was changed because wait, what did I do Wednesday?
Did you
I
see the missus?
No, because I saw her Monday. That was our
No.
date night. Which I completely fucked up. That's a funny story, actually. I'll just quickly say, like, we had a nice date night last week, and
Yeah.
she booked that. She booked the trains where we went to have dinner.
Nice.
We just stayed around. We live in a coastal area,
Nice.
southwest, beautiful beaches.
Yeah. That's
So we just stayed around there, and and I was really adamant to go and watch Doctor Strange because I'm a big Marvel fan.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd book the tickets. So I booked them when I got paid at one of the cinemas. There's 2 cinemas near us that I know of. So I booked them at one of the cinemas. And then on the day, I decided to book the trains to where we were going to go to the
Nice.
cinema, book the train to get the food.
Yep.
And then me being me, we didn't go to the cinema that I booked for.
Oh.
We missed my train that I booked.
Oh my
So we had to get
god.
the
No.
bus. So I had to cancel 2 sets of tickets. That was great fun. And then when we got to the bloody restaurant, we almost that was it. We got the wrong train back. We got the hour early train back, so we had to sit around the station that you change at for an hour. And then it was just a fucking mess, man. She's never letting me book anything from this point onwards. I wasted £10 on refunded tickets.
Oh,
It was brilliant.
no.
So
Love that. Love that.
I enjoyed it. It was lovely food, great film. But God, I'm never booking it again. Never again.
That's funny. That's funny.
But
So you've had a bit of a mad week.
so yeah, Monday was a mad week, and then I do football every Tuesday, so that was just normal.
Nice.
But no, the gym's just been an interesting way. It's because I've always tried to be healthy.
Yeah.
Because I've always heard, healthy mind's a healthy. Sorry, healthy body's a
Yep.
healthy mind.
For sure.
So I've always tried to be healthy and trying to get into the gym, and I do feel a little better. I'm not gonna lie, I do feel healthy. I feel better for myself, but it's just trying to get into just the habit of it.
Yeah.
It's only been the first 2 weeks,
Yeah, of
so
course, yeah.
it's just getting into that habit.
As they say, once it's a habit, it's then it stays with you, doesn't it? So
Yes,
and
yeah. I think a lot of people put the word habit as a bad thing.
yeah,
Good things can be habits.
definitely, I agree.
It's just if you make it a bad, if you're smoking, that's a bad habit.
Yeah,
Stop it.
yeah, exactly. Yep, 100%.
So,
that's interesting. So are you obviously talking about going to the gym and being healthy and things like that? So do you still struggle with mental health now?
Occasionally.
Okay.
It comes in its strengths. Like as mentioned, I never give myself time to grieve, so that does hit me every now and then.
Yeah.
I get easily overwhelmed at work at times. And so that I used to do evening shifts at work at the Chippy, but I just couldn't take it anymore and had one night where I just broke down, and I just haven't done night shifts since.
Okay.
And that was a real that really showed me that I just haven't got over
Yeah.
the loss of my mum, which is
Yeah.
something that I should really put time towards. But again, I don't want to put myself in that place
Yeah,
again.
of course. Yeah.
So I'll find time one day.
You
I'll
feel
keep saying
vulnerable,
that.
I suppose, when it gets to
Yes.
that. Yeah. Yeah, for
And
sure.
recently, I say recently, as of this Monday,
Mm-hmm.
no, sorry, that's a lie. As of this Tuesday, I spoke to the doctors to try and get my anxiety sorted.
Okay.
So that I'm going to be doing some online courses with people
wow.
to try and
Amazing.
fix that.
Yeah, of
Because
course.
it's a case of I haven't got it checked out, and I should have, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I have multiple things like IBS. Out on the street, I feel like I need the toilet a lot, and
Yeah.
I worry that I'm gonna shit myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's my anxiety or if that is IBS. So
Yeah.
I thought I'll just try and get it checked out.
Yeah,
try and get one
100%.
sorted.
Yep.
It mainly happened because my anxiety. I have social anxiety. I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
I worked at Primark for a year. Never done that again.
Yeah.
Customers are the worst. My God. Love people, but customers just don't.
Yeah.
So like I got used to doing it. I got used to working with customers, but I haven't done it for 2 years. So I'm like, I don't really want to work with customers anymore.
Yep.
Or never again. Sorry.
Yeah.
But my social anxiety definitely got a lot worse with that.
Okay.
But it's like it's just annoying. It's one of those things where my anxiety just causes more issues than it should.
Yep.
It's caused issues with dates or going to see friends.
Yes.
Or like the worst one is when I go to the gym.
Yeah.
I feel anxious. Like I overthink everything and just don't understand why certain people might like stand next to me or this or that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to try and get that sorted.
That's really good.
Finally.
That's really, it's really, actually really strange you said that about the gym. So I used to go to the gym. Me and especially when obviously it all first started happening for me, my mental health and was really deteriorating. And me and the other half, she was like, right, let's go to the gym, let's do this, let's that, and it was really strange. So we went to a gym and my anxiety was horrendous. Like, and I mean, it was just, walking through the door was just so hard. Well, getting out of the house was hard to start off with, but actually driving there, getting through the door, and gym culture is a little bit weird anyway, and it does seem that everyone seems to stare, and they probably don't. But in my head, it really was, and it was horrible. And we lasted quite a long time doing it, and then as life happens as always, you kind of like drop off and stop doing something, and then I didn't want to go back to the same gyms. I wanted to do something else, and I ended up, and it was really good, but money wise it's ridiculous. So we ended up doing David Lloyd, and it was probably one of the best things that I had done in a long time, because I used the gym there. They had an amazing swimming pool. They actually had offices there, or adult lounge there that you could like go and take my laptop and do I work from this. I worked from there, and it was really good. And also, it's really strange, but it was full. The times I would go, it wasn't bodybuilders. It wasn't all of that kind of stuff. It was elderly ladies, like your mums that have just dropped kids off at school. It was a gym that had a really nice vibe, if that made sense, and that helped me loads. The issue was it was stupidly expensive. Like stupidly expensive.
That's always the issue.
Exactly. So, but I would easily recommend going to do that anytime if you've got a good spare chunk of money, because for my social anxiety, that place actually helped loads. I didn't mind going in the door. I didn't mind talking to people. I didn't mind, where some of the other gyms that I've been to, it is very, it is very bouncer, bodybuilder, heavy, and people just trying to like, lift the biggest weights, whatever, and that's obviously not me at all, as you can probably tell from my my build.
I don't know. You might be hiding something under that shirt that we don't know.
Exactly. So, but yeah, it definitely helped, and I would like to go back again. But again, it's time, effort, all that for me is hard. But it is funny you say that with the anxiety side. I think it really does. And social anxiety is a weird one, because I never had any issues at all, and then again I know I still have the issue of when I'm out in social situations, it's really strange, but it's looking at people in the eye. And I used to be able to talk to everyone and anything and literally like just have a laugh and a joke. And now I struggle talking to people and literally looking at them. And it's so weird. It's so strange. But a lot of people that I speak to with anxiety, they say exactly the same. And I think it's that whole thing of I feel that I'm being judged, even though 100% I'm not. And I find that really bizarre.
Oh, now that you say that, to be honest, like I know something I noticed is I used to struggle a lot with looking people in the eye. And I'll open up more about myself again. I've been told multiple times in my life I might be minorly autistic.
Okay.
I don't know if I am. Again, something I should probably get found out. But
Yep.
it was one of the most annoying things in my life was when my mum passed in college. The teacher recommended I did counselling. I didn't have an option. She just put me in it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And that went on for a couple of weeks. And the counsellor ended up finishing. The last lesson we did was the week of summer breakup.
Yep.
And the last lesson the last one was she said, I think the last thing she said, Charlie, was if you don't feel any better, go and seek out a doctor. Also, I think you might be mildly autistic. And I'm like, how are you helping with my grief?
Oh my God.
Thank you, I guess.
Wow. Okay.
Completely. It's like it felt like she was just trying to blame something else on another issue. I don't know though.
Yeah.
But I because of that, I always found my looking into people's eyes when talking to them, or just even concentrating on them, was probably to blame on that. But then I got really good at it. Or not to say it's a skill, but I used to just do it and understand people more, and social situations felt so much more comfortable.
Yeah.
And now I'm at a point like you where I just find it awkward. Again, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's a confidence thing or maybe like a food eating habit issue, or God knows.
Yeah.
But that's now that you point that out, it's something I have noticed is I find it more awkward to do it now. But I did get to a point where I just felt extremely comfortable talking to people. Social situations weren't as bad as they used to be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those things that just some people just go. It's like you know how you can get allergies randomly.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's such a good point.
It's strange, though, isn't it? It really is. It's so bizarre, and it is. It's a massive thing I've been trying to kind of work on, and but it is really strange because I know people aren't judging me. Well, they probably are, but you know, it's you just got this in my head that these people are, you know, I'm speaking to them and they're just judging me, and it's just that anxiety. And it's horrible. It's so horrible.
100%, yeah.
And I totally get from you, as you say, working in kind of, because I've worked in retail before, and some retail I found absolutely brilliant because some of the customers, but I mean, other times you're like, I can't deal with this. And so I was still working in retail when COVID hit, and my anxiety went through the roof. It was just insane. And I got signed off work. The whole shebang, it was horrendous, like absolutely horrendous. And since then I think it had got a lot worse, and it has got worse because I haven't we haven't gone back out into the world, I suppose. But now I'm a stay-at-home dad. Like, you know, the only kind of places I normally go is out with the little into classes, and then I then do socialise a little bit more, which is better for me. So, but it is a weird one. It is a weird one.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of if it was because I was more active out and about meeting people, or if it was a certain event that I went to that just put me off again. I genuinely couldn't tell you. I'm definitely I guess it depends on my mood, because I recently went and saw One Republic up in London, which was a great event. Yeah. And I was fine when I went to I could go to the concert. I'm all right with that. And, you know, seeing people and interacting with people, I felt a little bit more comfortable with. Not as comfortable as I wish I was, but I wasn't like panicking or anything like that. I'm very grateful to not have panic attacks in public. Yeah. Or have severe anxiety like that. I couldn't imagine what that's like, and I do respect the people that have to go through it.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually deal with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's something I definitely have to look into. And if I do these anxiety courses, which apparently have a month booking waiting list,
Yep.
it's
At
something to
the
discuss with them.
minimum, it's the
Yeah.
craziest thing. Yeah.
Oh, COVID is like I'm doing my driving lessons at the moment. I've been doing them for 2 years because of COVID,
Wow.
and they're still backlogged. Driving instructors are still backlogged. Test examiners are still backlogged from COVID. It's
That's
just mad.
mad. That's
And
so crazy.
as my friend said, sorry, as my instructor said, sorry,
Yeah.
every day someone is turning 17 and is wanting the driving
Yeah.
driving lessons.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it's never going to end.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it's actually really interesting that is happening. That young kids now are suffering quite bad with anxiety and depression, all because of COVID. Which is mad, but you can see it happening.
yeah, no, COVID was a really, really awful thing for everybody in the world as a disease, but I think now after we're really understanding the effect it had mentally on people, especially the younger ones.
Yes. Yeah,
And
definitely.
it's upsetting. I couldn't imagine being a COVID baby though. Like
It's mad, ain't it?
knowing that you were born during a pandemic
Yes.
were you born out of boredom?
Yeah.
Or no, I'm joking.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that you never know.
Yeah.
Everybody's curious about like at what point were they made.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I'm an October baby, so I don't think that's special
Yeah,
that I can think of.
exactly.
Um,
No, but you are
no,
right. It's weird, and I remember when again COVID first happened, and I was still working in retail, and babies would be coming in, like, and everyone was wearing masks, and like these kids, literally, like you'd have conversations with the mums or the dads and the parents and whoever, and they'd be saying that the children like scream all the time, like because they just don't, they can't, they're not getting any social experience, they're not getting any kind of like facial recognition of like, oh, you've done a great job there, because I've got a mask on so you can't even see that I'm smiling, and it's yeah, for that generation. I mean, my son's 1, so he was kind of in it and not in it, and yeah, it's crazy. Like, so great. And I think that some, and it is like, all the kids that had to work, and do all their lessons from, from home, like young kids.
Oh, yes.
And then all the people that were in college and universities and all that lost out on, there's that year of kids that have lost out on either going to university or doing this because of COVID, which, that could really affect their life. And that
is very true, yeah.
And that's hard, and especially for the fact of, then their anxiety, depression, and all that kind of stuff is going to be so high because they don't know what they're going to do with their life, where before they had it all planned out.
Yeah, no, actually, that's you being a dad. Obviously, that's going to be part of your life, because you're seeing your son grow up.
Yep.
I assume it's your son, sorry. I can't
Yeah,
remember if you
son.
mentioned
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And that's something I never once thought about. Is they're never gonna see facial expressions, or they would have never seen during COVID facial expressions if they did something good or did something bad. That's something I never thought about. And my God, that is a huge development stage.
Oh, massive.
Especially really young kids.
Massive. Yep.
So wow, that must have
And they even said it with I know there was another thing I was watching the other day, and I can't remember what it was, but they were saying about kids that are going now to primary school, and they are nowhere near developed social wise or anything than 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Because they think it's COVID. Like, they're still, and it kind of seems a bit weird, but there's a lot of kids that aren't even kind of like being like toilet trained, before they go into primary school and things like that. And for me, that's a bit mad, because COVID probably should have helped with that, because you have more time with your kids, but it doesn't make any sense. But apparently there's loads of things like this happening that, that we're only seeing now because of, you don't know what happens after a pandemic like this.
That's true, yes. it's a once in a lifetime moment because nobody else is gonna want to go for it again.
Exactly.
That's actually, that is mental. I never thought about that, and yeah, no, that's like it's actually, as a father, I'm genuinely curious. I've always believed that schools have started way too soon.
Yeah.
You know, as someone who struggles to sleep, struggles to wake up in the morning, have done most of my life during primary school, secondary school, college,
Yeah.
etc. I've always thought, you know, getting up for 7 in the morning is ridiculously early for a kid, and especially how not everybody wakes up at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, everybody wakes up at completely different times in their life. At different times in general. You know, it's a psychological thing.
Yep.
So I saw a study that said even if they'd like opened it up by like an hour, that's going to help so many kids go to school and in a woken up state that they're going to learn on their first, maybe second lesson.
Yeah.
Or they're not going to feel stressed, or they're not going to have anxiety about getting up in time.
Yeah.
Especially during secondary school, that can be a big worry.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that I missed plenty of college lessons because I just didn't want to wake up.
Yeah.
And I just slacked the day off and just didn't go in.
Yeah.
Which is probably a reason college is bad for me because it gives you freedom.
Yeah. I
but
was the same. I used to bunk off to play games, computer games.
I always had this mental state that if I took a day, I still do, to be honest. If I take a day off school, even if it's a genuine, like I'm genuinely ill, or college or work to this day, I will not do anything in my current hours that I should be at school because I feel bad.
Yeah.
Because I should be doing something with my life, but in fact I've just taken the day off, be it legitimate or not. I will just avoid doing anything.
Yeah.
It depends on my mood, I guess, but like most of the time I probably won't play games. I'll do something productive, be it at the time college work or
yeah.
Working on my podcast. If I take a day off work, I'll try and work on my podcast or college or my YouTube or Twitch or whatever it be. Because it's a constant. I'm constantly, my biggest problem, I'm too creative at times. I make so many different overlays for my stream that I've gone through about 12 in the last year. It's like once a month at this point in time. My podcast has changed visual aesthetics like 5 times. Just because I'm trying to make it better and better. It's not because I don't like. I just like making it different. It's just because I'm just trying to work on something new and make it as high quality as I possibly can.
People say that though, isn't it? It's like you're only as good as your last video.
Yes.
You know, and that's it. You know, and you always want to make the next one better and better and better and better. And if you don't, then I think there's something wrong, because I think you should. Personally,
that's where my problem started. Is I made my first ever video on my channel is shockingly shit, but then again I was quite young. And I started YouTube in 2012, so I've been doing it for a decade now. And just every now and then. I made my first account when I turned 13, the legal age of making a YouTube account, because I trust the law. And my dad made the account. I uploaded a video, filmed on my phone. It was me doing a glitch from Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies. And I just uploaded it. Cool. Nice. And I did that, and I didn't realize for 3 different accounts that I could quite literally just change my YouTube name. I didn't have to recreate the account and make new videos. So I've got about 5 accounts on YouTube, all with different degrees of quality content.
Brilliant.
I don't know how this one has lasted as long as it has, but it's already had one name change, to be honest. It went from the Tactical Gamer to TacticalTv.
There you go.
Because people just kept calling me Tactical for short. I don't blame them. Calling me the Tactical Gamer was a bit of a mouthful in the long run. So I had a name change, but I haven't made any other big changes like that. And I do believe that if I made consistent, like even once a month video since 2012, I probably would have a bigger channel than I do now. It's the fact that I've started again multiple times that's made me fuck up. But no, that was a huge me going off on a different rant. My biggest problem with YouTube making videos at the moment is I'm a perfectionist. If I can't get a video to look the way I'm imagining, I will just give up on it.
And that's really hard. I actually spoke to a mate of mine about this, and he's just got YouTube Partner, and which is so good. He's wanted to do this for quite a while, and
That's insane. Yeah.
But he's the same, and like me as well. I actually edit YouTube videos for people. I make overlays for people. I kind of do all that, and if it's not right, I get so frustrated, like so frustrated. But then it's that thing where it's, again, because it's not my, and you have to look at it as a job and a money kind of point of view. Whereas I could spend a week on this thing and I've only charged X amount of money, and I've lost X amount of money because it's taken me a week to do it, and it's really hard. But I'm a perfectionist, and I do a lot of things, and I spend a lot of time on things that I kind of shouldn't do, because again, it's wasting my time, wasting my money. But I want it to be right, and that's a really good thing. But also, it's quite bad because it can take up too much of your time when you're trying to do something. So I understand that, though, with yourself. Totally understand that.
Yeah. No, I've got to a point now where I know my limit on YouTube. I'm still trying to make stuff better, do graphics and all that. But I'm taking time now to say I'll put an hour into just making graphics, and then that's it. I'll use those on the video editing, on the actual videos, and I'll try and make these videos. But I remember you mentioning it. I genuinely can't remember where. I do remember you mentioning that you edit for people.
Yeah.
Is that your sort of your job then?
Yeah. So very randomly, and this is going off on a bit of a weird tangent. I actually run and own a clothing company, which I've owned for 6 years-ish, 7 years maybe. Don't know. And it's a extreme sports clothing brand. We kind of, like me and the missus, we kind of built it around the whole idea of skiing and snowboarding because that's what we did. And when we came back to the UK, it is now kind of heavy into the extreme sports, so downhill mountain biking and BMX and skateboarding, and still skiing, snowboarding, the whole shebang. So I've been in graphics and design for a long time. And even before that clothing brand, I had another clothing brand, and I've just done graphics for a long time. From the graphic side, then all of a sudden I got into like After Effects and wanted to kind of learn that. From that, then obviously got into more of the editing side and love editing, love it. And I used to do little edits for myself, and then all of a sudden people were like, "Oh, well, I'll pay you to do it," and I'll pay. And I was like, "Well, okay, fine, I'll start doing it." So, and I've loved it, absolutely loved it. So, editing wise, it's something that I would like to pursue a lot more, especially when the little one goes to nursery. If he goes to nursery for half a day or 2 half days or whatever, that is what I would be doing then. Them days. Evening wise, at the moment, I'm still editing. So even before jumping on here, I was editing for someone. So yeah, this week at the moment, I've got 2 YouTube videos that I'm editing for for people, and I've also got 2 lots of overlays that I'm doing.
Oh, nice.
So, but I love it. Really good fun, and I love I do emotes for people as well. So got my iPad sitting there with the iPad pencil drawing stuff, and so yeah. I like to be a bit of creative, and I'm thinking a little bit like you. I like to do a lot of things. Creative wise, I've got too many ideas in my head that I want to do everything, and I can't do everything.
Yeah. Well, my girlfriend recently got the iPad Mini or whatever.
Yeah.
And she let me do a couple emote designs on that, and it's amazing how I don't know. It just feels like I could do more on there.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. It opens up so much more. It's really weird. Yeah. As soon as I got mine, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna try it," and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my god! There is so much you can do on this." And
what's it called? Is it Procreate?
Yeah,
no.
Procreate.
Oh, it is. You can't beat Procreate. It is
one of the best programs ever.
Yeah.
Yep. I use Procreate and Photoshop on my iPad. Procreate is brilliant, and then if I want to kind of obviously then vectorize and obviously bring it over to Illustrator, and then obviously After Effects for movements and all that kind of stuff, and Procreate is brilliant. Such an amazing program.
Yeah.
So that's my my background and all that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, after talking to not to name drop, not after, no, after talking to a sarcastic Brit who,
Yeah.
fun fact, people, used to edit Pesteli's videos.
Yes.
I really wanted to try and get into editing, so I contacted a couple of people that I know who are streamers and video editors. Wanting to get into YouTube and asked
Yeah.
if they wanted an editor.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was keen for the idea. I applied for because they actually put up a job like an application on Twitter. Sorry, and I applied to it. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, they've now gone to Mexico to see their partner, which is wonderful. And the story behind that is absolutely immense. I very much doubt you. Do you know the EFT streamer Keps?
No.
Okay, yeah, I've known him since 2015. I want to say maybe. He's been one of the longest ones I've known. And he actually, I will try and get into contact when he gets back into YouTube because he's gone through hell and back when it comes to mental health, and Twitch has really helped with that. It is fantastic to see how much he's gone through. He's very open about it. He's openly got quite upset on streams.
Yeah.
Went through a stage of, I won't go into too many details, but went through a stage of having a drinking issue and then resolving that, and he did that whole story on Twitch. It was fascinating.
That's amazing.
And something that happened recently is, which is just wonderful to see from a viewer point of view and as a distant friend.
Yeah.
Is as mentioned, he's gone to Mexico where his partner is. I think they met online somewhere.
Yeah.
And he set a donation goal on Twitch to try and raise enough money to fly over to Mexico.
Yeah.
He met a random guy on EFT, and that guy went into his stream and donated him, I think it was £1,500 to go and get everything sorted, which is just absolutely insane. But the joy he's had from this, because as mentioned, he's been going through some extreme shit, I guess, is the best way of putting it. It was just outstanding. But yeah, I asked him, and he seems quite keen for it. I think I'm just waiting for him to get back to the UK.
Amazing.
But it would be nice to just start, even if it's on someone like him, just to start editing videos, and then I can put that in a portfolio and have that on a CV.
Exactly.
I a friend's dad starting a business. They want a logo, so I'm going to get that done.
Yep.
Even if it's
nice.
It's just nice to get your name out there. I would love to try and do it, but unfortunately, everybody I do stuff for doesn't want to pay me, or I'm not the sort of person to say, "Can you pay me for this?" I'll just do it for them, and I've sorted.
See, I like that. I do a lot of things, and I'm like, look, just whenever they're like, well, how much are you? And I'm like, oh, do you know what? Next time you're in my stream, just jump me a sub or something, or I'm not fussed, whatever. I don't. And there is some people like that, but then I have obviously started getting into more of the business side of it, and I'm like, right, so these are my rates, this is what I do, and if you want it, you want it, great. If you don't, you don't, and that's it. And I'm very open with my time, because my time is really precious to me, because I don't have time in the day to do anything because of the little one. So it's always evenings and weekends. I try not to do anything apart from the Sunday stream, because it's family time. So I'm kind of very precious with my time. So, but yeah,
you can't be too precious about it, can you? It's important.
Exactly. So, but yeah,
that's decent.
Yeah. So, but apart from that, I think, this podcast has been great. We could chat forever.
No. We could. I teased it at the beginning, so I'm just going to mention it.
Yes.
I wanna make the Clip It more than just a podcast, so I'm working on making it a brand.
Nice.
Now, you said did you say you own a clothing brand? Sorry,
I own a clothing.
Now that would be my dream come true, but that's probably going to come later on. Is to make the Clip It into I very much doubt TGF.
What, the friendly guy? No,
TGF.
TGF.
No, not TGF. Sorry. Wait, are they called TGF? Yeah, TGF. They're Jackass.
Yes.
They're basically the YouTube Jackass.
Well, maybe I do.
TGF Pro, that's it.
I'll have to have a look.
Jay Swingler is one of them. But they have a clothing brand.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of thing I would love to do, is just have a clothing brand.
Yeah.
But also I'm working on when I saw that, is it Darth Claw, a good friend of yours?
Yeah. Darcy Lace. Yeah. I keep saying Darth Clace, and then it's
That was it. I don't know where I got Claw from, but But he did the Taki tournaments.
Yes.
And obviously, as mentioned, I was in TFG's tournament.
Yeah.
I look at those, and me being the competitive man I am, I look at them, I go, I could do better.
Yeah.
And so I really want to do my own Tarkov tournament now.
Nice.
Under the Clip It brand name. And so that's probably going to be something I'm genuinely going to work on.
Amazing.
So, if you'd like to be part of that, I'll definitely
100%.
let you know.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
But
Definitely.
I'm just always like, I love the live production side of stuff. So just trying to do like CS:GO level tournament on 2 people sort of budget.
Yes.
But no, that would be something I will keep working on in my own time. It's just trying to make the Clip It brand an actual brand, expand it from just the podcast.
Yeah.
But that seems like a lot more work than
That'd be awesome.
Motivated to do.
No, it's definitely doable. Like things like that are definitely doable. It really is.
It's surrounding yourself with people that know this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky to have met you, who's an editor, and speak to an editor. So I now know the vague editing stuff.
Yeah.
It's just trying to actually work towards doing it.
Yeah.
And like my biggest worry, and you actually be perfect for this, is I don't know if I could work self-employed.
Right.
Because I have to socialise. I don't know. I remember just taking a week off from work for COVID reasons. Yeah. I hated it.
I agree with that, and I found being self-employed, run my own business, very difficult. When you're just yourself, and I did it at home, and it was hard. And then that's why I used to go to the gym and go to David Lloyd and spend time in their adult-only office or whatever it was, because I was out and about. Even though I wasn't always talking to people, you'd say hello and all that, but again, it was physically I'm going to work.
Yeah.
And that helps a lot. As soon as you start then getting more and more people involved, and as soon as you're chatting to people during the day and you're then actually hunting for business and things like that, I found that really helpful, because again, you're chatting and also as well, you're very passionate about your own business. Like I go to like some of the shows like for the clothing brand, and I can chat anyway, but when it comes to like the brand and all that, I mean, it's just the best. The shows are the best things ever, like ever. And people you meet and the experiences, and the people that we sponsor, like riders, like it's amazing.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Yeah, I agree. It's very hard, and but I think you kind of get away with it a little bit, and then you start obviously looking at either not employees, but either reps and all that kind of stuff, and it's then gets a lot easier because you're then talking to people. But starting off is always hard because you are very isolated and on your own, being self-employed, very much so.
Yeah. I actually, that was something I never really thought about, is depending on what job you're doing, you've got clients that you can talk to, and
exactly.
Especially in editing, if it's something you enjoy, you're going to want to talk to those clients and
100%
go back and forth and all that. So yeah, I guess that's one side of it that I never really thought about.
Yeah.
So
there we go.
It's turned into a job experience now.
This is what I say though, we're literally on here just to chat. And I like that. We are talking about mental health, gaming, but we are talking about everything and experiences and.
It's all mental health related, isn't it? Because
exactly,
like that was a big why. Not to carry on the podcast, I just briefly mentioned COVID. It was, everybody working from home. God, that caused so many issues, because not everybody wanted to work from home, or not everybody wanted to. People would love going to an office for the social aspect, not
massively.
Because they work in an office, because who wants to work in an office? It's to see friends and
social
stuff like
that.
that.
For sure, 100%.
So no, it's been an absolute pleasure though. It's genuinely been fascinating.
Honestly, thank you. Like, and I get again, like, thank you so much for, for being part of, our new community over at It's Only Pixels, and the whole kind of wanting to come on the podcast, being very open about your mental health, and obviously your whole past. It's and this is what I love. And I said this to you at the beginning. I just want people to know that they're not alone, and things like this happen to people, and you do go through bad stages, and there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and there is always people to talk to. And so I do. I massively appreciate everyone that comes on, and and how brave people are coming on and talking about their lives. It's so I really do appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure, and thank you. It's been wonderful just it's been a while since I've spoken about half of the stuff I've spoken about, so it was just nice to actually speak about it and
Good.
and get it out there, I guess. Because I don't normally we just talk about random crap on my podcast. So I just talk about that. It's getting to the point now where I need guests because like I love my hosts a bit, but we're talking about the same thing every other week it seems to be. So it would be good to get some new faces on.
Well, I'll be on at some point.
New subjects.
I'll be on at some point, so that'd be good. So, right, perfect. So all your socials will be in the comments anyway, so everyone can jump on and see all your stuff as always. And yeah, appreciate it. And I will sign off and come chat to you in a bit.
No worries.
Appreciate it, Tactical.
Thank you very much,
guys. That was awesome. Like so much fun. And again, what a great kind of story. And this is, I always say this, I love the fact that there's so many different stories, but we all kind of end up in a very similar place with mental health. And it could be, as today, grief, family, it could be anything from bullying to just life changes to everything. And, but we all end up in a very similar place, and help is always here and always out there. Even Tactical saying today that he's spoken to someone very recently about getting kind of help, which is great, which is absolutely amazing. And that could be anything from from medication to therapy to just anything. So there is always help out there, guys. Again, our Discord channel is always open. My DMs are always open. So if anyone sees this and wants to chat, doesn't even want to come on the show, anything like that, we don't care. I just want people to reach out to people. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching this. I appreciate it so much, and the traction this is getting, again, it's brilliant. And as always, we will be back again next week with another podcast every Sunday, 1 p.m. And appreciate you all. And yeah, as always, thank you and look after your mental health.